Hello, everyone. Once again, this is Dr. Dave from Northern California, here to tell you about my latest podcast interview on Shrink Wrap Radio, the psychology podcast. And this interview is going to be number 469, and it's about a Jungian take on diagnostic categories, in which I interview Dr. Stephen Buser, MD, psychiatrist, and he and his partner, partner in psychiatric practice, that is, Dr. Lynn Cruz. Together, they've written this book. Let's see, get it on camera here if I can. It's DSM-5 Insanely Simplified. Now, this was kind of a surprise to me, this particular book, because Dr. Buser is a publisher of a Jungian publishing company called Chiron Publishing, and he is also co-director of the Asheville Jung Center, which frequently sponsors webinars coming from the Jung Institute in Switzerland. So what's a Jungian doing writing a book about DSM-5? That was the big question in my mind. And we had an interesting discussion about it. And he actually covers the basics of, what the big changes are in DSM-5, as well as ICD-10, which is kind of the worldwide medical diagnostic system. And so these are all changes that any clinician needs to know about. And as the title suggests, they have insanely simplified it so that you can get right down to the meat of what you need to know. And then in addition, they've given a very nice kind of Jungian perspective, if you will, on the whole idea of diagnosis, kind of moving away from the idea of sort of pathologizing. I mean, to fill out the insurance forms, you have to use the diagnostic numbers, right? The codes. But for a cognitive overview, they outline 8 continua, if you will, that go all the way from too little of a certain category to too much. And let's see if I can remember what page those continua are on, because it's very, very helpful, I think. Well, if you listen to the interview, actually, you'll learn all about that. So that's my recommendation, is be sure to listen to Shrink Wrap Radio number 469, a Jungian take on diagnostic categories. I almost said diagnostic, which betrays perhaps my underlying feeling about this. Diagnostic categories with Jungian, Dr. Steve Buser. Okay, so hope to see you there, so to speak.